of what gender-based violence looks like in South Africa.
My name is from Activate. So today we are at Philippi Village. We are here because it's the 21st of March, which is a National Human Rights Day for South Africa. And we want to actually commemorate this day by having conversations around how can we create inclusive and more connected societies. Because South Africa is faced with a lot of issues like gender-based violence, and that is actually one of the subjects that we are going to look at today. So we've invited young people from different spaces, different organizations. So we are doing this in partnership with the Institute for Justice and Reconciliation, Africa Unite, and of course Activate. So to say, let's create a space where we can have conversations around how can we deal with gender-based violence in South Africa? How can we create a more gender-just society? But how can we do this inclusively together as the organizations that are really wanting to see change in South Africa? So we hope that it's going to be engaging conversations. We hope that it's going to be, it's going to be very insightful. We are also hoping that what's going to come out of these conversations today is going to be something that's going to lead into action so that we don't have conversations for the sake of conversations. So let's see what happens, and thank you so much. This day is very important. It speaks exactly about what we are trying to do. Trying to open inclusivity and connections in the societies that we live in. Like, it's very important that as young people we come together, just like they were young people then. They were also young people. When Steve Biko died, he was my age. And when I think about this, I'm like, every time I thought about him as an old man. But actually, he was my age. So what am I doing now? What am I doing in my space now? The struggle is different, but there is something that I'm definitely doing now. So we are here because that day was important. We are here because we are trying to use the same methodology that they use, the inclusivity and the interconnectedness methodology they use to actually come together.
And the idea for today is to create a space where we can really engage with how do we understand what gender-based violence is? How do we think about what is our role in thinking about coming up with solutions, but also how can exploring what the root causes of GBV is, how can that exploration get us to a place where we can think about solutions? And all of us sitting here having one way or the other some interest in this. Because as we are sitting here, we are all gendered beings. It doesn't matter who we are sitting here as gendered beings, and also our experiences of that is shaped by how people think about gender, how they think about when they see you, how they categorize you. So what we want to do with this space is to really come up with what are some of these root causes. And the expectation of the day is that when we walk out of this place, or now going forward, what needs to be done.
What we really want to do here is we want to create a space for interconnectedness and inclusivity. How would that look like? We want to dream it, we want to try and see if that's something that we can really do together. Which is why the three organizations are working together. When you guys received the invitation, it was written Imbizo, right? So Imbizo, it means Ubija, gathering, right? It's a Zulu word meaning gathering. So there was Imbizos were used by our forefathers, and I'm hoping that we are still using that today. If there's any gathering in the community to speak about any issue in the community, you will have Imbizos. So this is our kind of Imbizo. But normally Imbizos, because back in the day we had huts, so a hut cannot host the whole community. We used trees as shelters to host Imbizos. Does it make sense? So you would sit under the tree and we would have our Imbizos. Right? So, and that's where most conversations would happen. So we are using the tree analogy to speak about the gender-based violence we face within South Africa. So we've made a gender-based violence tree. So I want us to go to that corner, all of us. Can we please go to that corner and sit under that tree? So I'm gonna ask the tallest person in this house to please come and pull a pair and read it out for us.
It says South Africa has ratified the SADC, okay? Declaration on Gender and Development. the UN Convention on the Elimination of all the forms of discrimination against women and other international instruments, Commission for Gender Equality 2010.
Gender-based violence can be attributed to an interplay of individual, community, economic, cultural, and religious factors interacting at different levels of society.
Men are often placed in a powerful position in relation to women due to practices such as lobola, ukutwala, and Sharia law, where women inherit a subordinate position to men.
Perpetrators of violence and hate crimes also form part of the communities within which these events occur.
Once he has paid lobola, it is culturally acceptable for a man to beat his wife if she does something wrong.
82% of all murder victims nationally are men.
Approximately 69% of South Africans do not approve of legalizing sex work.
Reported cases of assault and sexual offences has decreased over the past decade, not necessarily due to the decrease in the perpetration of such crimes, but because of the issue of the general erosion of trust in the justice system.
Yes. So the tree is rooted. So it means this tree is not going anywhere. It's our responsibility to try and understand what's on. There's a lot of outcomes of gender-based violence in South Africa that you perhaps might have personally experienced, or which you perhaps might have, seen happen from your own space, from your workspace. So in our groups, you're already putting tables. In your table, you're going to take one issue which you feel like it resonates with you the most. What is the root cause of this issue?
Something I've always frustrated by little girls. Often the very first toy they get is a baby to look after. And then women somehow believe that their whole job in life is to be a mother and to look after the people around them instead of having any option in the world that they can think of. So these women who believe that it's okay to be beaten, it's partly because they've been taught since they were born that their only value in life is being in a marriage. Their only value in life is being a parent.
They go playing out at 6 o'clock. You call the girl child, and the boy child is there paid until whatever time. So I think this starts from the earliest age.
Men are generally given more positions of power by culture and by religion and by various other social institutions. The core problem for me would be the issue of gender inequality.
Other ways of living, when they went back into their space, that's how they now express themselves. Because if back in the village it's very quiet, and then you move to the city where there's violence, there's beating, when you go back home and your wife instantly doesn't do something that you want them to do, it triggers what you see back into the city. So for me, it's not a cultural norm, it's a societal. So we should.
And also on a religious belief or spiritual belief that God is a He. Nobody ever associated God as He.
When a society has a tendency to speak for those who are contrary victims of violence, men talk about women's issues to other men in a perspective that might not really be assisting.
Empower people that are affected. So pretty much people who are affected by all these things, which is sex workers and homosexuals, we actually try and empower them, and then we ask them to actually be the ones who talk about their stories also, not let other people talk about their stories.
Looking at the community at large and our society, and what makes the gender-based violence regards to culture is, if I'm abused at home, I'll need to first put it in the family table, discuss it in the family, and not go abroad and across to where I can get help directly and immediately. We then came up with a solution that we need to make sure that we open up the younger people, the younger generation, to have a voice, breaking up the barrier and breaking up the wall, so that they have a voice to speak, they have a voice to stand for themselves against the violence.
if we were able to fight for the decriminalization of homosexuality in South Africa, then we are also able to fight against the decriminalization of sex work. That tree there has to have things that will change from the root going up to the branch, and then we address the fruit. Because there are things that we need to relearn, there are things we need to unlearn, and there are things that we need to let go of.
Our job, all of our jobs from here on out, is to stay connected to each other and use these conversations and capture the essence of each conversation and share with each other as we move through the process of trying to discover the underlying root causes, but also some of the possibilities of reshaping and changing and solving. And we are committed, and I know you guys are all committed, and there will be other partners that are also committed. And I just wanted to reiterate that commitment, that this is just the beginning of a new process. A new process where we are constantly going to hammer away at this until we find solutions to some of these challenges together. Constantly publish information and share it with the world so that they know what we talk about. They know what we said, what we learned, and we also start sharing those potential solutions.
Good afternoon, my name is Brilliant and I'm from an organization called Africa Unite. I'm the Human Rights Manager there, and today we gathered and we're talking about the whole idea and the whole issue that we're facing in South Africa of gender-based violence. Gathering here in this Imbizo, one of the most important things was just the outcome. I was quite thrilled with the ideas that came out of the different people that were here today. I think what touched us, or what moved us basically as an organization, is the whole idea of people wanting an inclusive society. And I'm really proud to see that the three of us, Africa Unite, Activate and Institute for Justice and Reconciliation, we are also starting to set the pace in saying that within the civil society there's so much collaboration that we need to do. It's a sign that we're moving to a gender just society. We need to educate each other constantly. And this knowledge, sometimes you can get it informally through these partnerships or through these networks. So for me, I'm really excited to be part of this initiative, and I'm really excited to see that people and activists and human rights defenders are willing to take this journey, and we are also willing to say we need to learn more and unlearn some of the things that we see. Thank you very much for this initiative.
So today's event was amazing. So what came out from the event was really, really amazing. So going forward, just like Brilliant said, I'm really quite looking forward to some of the interventions which we are going to do together. So we are going to create a network of gender-based violence practitioners in the Western Cape, and we are hoping that this work can actually continue to sort of include other organizations who are not in the space. So from here we want to have a campaign, an online campaign, which is going to create awareness around how do we really deal with gender-based violence in society, but also to showcase some of the best practice, of dealing with gender-based violence from our communities, because this is something that is living within our communities, and it's a monster that we need to sort out ourselves. So I'm really, really looking forward to the interventions that would come out, and I'm really, really looking forward to interacting with even more young people and more organizations into making it happen. And we spoke about involving policymakers in this space, and I'm also looking forward to see if really we can be able to get into the policy making space or to influence policy. So yes, thank you.